almost the circular has come already. So that alone we can spare for some time till the financial year gets over. Because the circular has very clearly says that any document attached with the accounts, annexed with the accounts, it is sufficient that the rules under the old act, provisions of the old act is followed, except that everything else has to be followed under the new act. Probably certain points which I have covered, I will explain you what are the things immediately to be done. In fact, foremost thing which I have not mentioned here that I have to tell you here, first thing, whether we do anything or not, you have to alter your article of association. Our company's article of association should be in tune with Companies Act, Provision of Companies Act 2013. If I am the regulator, I am the officer who is given authority to enforce the present act, I can easily serve a notice to the company and say that you furnish your new article of association. You supposed to probably new form has not come to file with the register of companies, but still I can expect you to have a new article of association. In fact, altering of article of association is not the filing is not a prerequisite to alter the article of association. In fact, the law provides a form has to be filed with the register of companies within 30 days of alteration of article of association. That means your article can be altered in your general meeting. That doesn't require any form, new form. So that means then we are expected to have our article of association in tune with, in alignment with our Provisions of Companies Act 2013. If at all, for heaven's sake, or for your sake, or company's sake, because we are also an officer. I am a professional and a practicing person. You may be the employee or director or company secretary, chartered accountant, CFO, and now as for the fraud definition, everyone is going to get covered only. So as a first step, we should ensure that article of our company is updated as per the new law. In fact, not even I should say updated, I should rather say replaced. The table A should be replaced with the table F. If you are not replacing with the table F, at least say that I am following table F, but I am excluding provision of table F, and these are the provisions equivalent to the table F. So if we are not doing that, then doing anything else under the new act is not going to save you, because by keeping the charter document, the memorandum and article is a charter document of the company. By keeping our charter document under the old Provisions of Companies Act, first of all, are we permitted to run the company? That is a $1 million question. In fact, if you can see section 5 and section 12, so section 12 last subsection, it very clearly says that a company should have an article of association. The provisions of the article of association specified under the new act, that means Company Act 2013, shall be applicable to the articles of the company only if it is altered under the provision of the Companies Act 2013. That means if you are not altering our article under new provision, that means we can't do anything under the new act, and it will be deemed as we are violating the provision of section 12 of the Companies Act 2013. Something we violate, now I told you already, my God, it's a fraud. So not altering the article also can be taken into the definition of fraud. They can say that willfully we are not altering. It's not that our intention is willfully we should not alter, but they will always say that willfully with intention to fraud, and all that they can put. Anyway, that context is available in 447. Some word they will pick up and say that for this reason you are not done. So first paramount important thing that we are altering our article of association as well as memorandum of association. What memorandum of association needs to be altered? Earlier in memorandum of association, private companies are freely allowed to issue any kind of share capital. Now private company is as equal to the public company in terms of issue of shares. So our authorized capital class under the memorandum of association should undergo necessarily change. Reason being, now the provisions that are applicable to public company with respect to the capital, starting from section 85 kinds of capital till end of 91, along with the saving class, which was saving all private company from the applicability of the provision of share capital, all that now got changed. Now all those provision is applicable as equivalent to the public company. That means we cannot have our own kind of share capital. Earlier under the old act, we were permitted to have our own kind of capital. In fact, I need not to call it as an equity capital also. under the old act. Under the old act, nobody questions say that how can you keep this kind of capital? You supposed to have equity capital. No, there's a saving clause 91 is there, where it says that you can have any kind of capital as far as you are a private company. Now there is no such privilege is given. That means then now we have to ensure that we are altering our authorized capital class, where we have to say if at all we put the class that the company can issue a so and so shares and voting rights, this, that, and all that, we have to see that we are having in tune with the provisions of the new act. And apart from that, name and important another change in the memorandum of association is object clause. The requirement of regulation 36 of Company Law Board regulation is that we have to give a public notification, that means a paper advertisement 1 month before filing the petition. That means we have to give a paper advertisement, we have to wait and calculate 1 month has got expired, then only we can file a petition under 36 regulation 36 of the Company Law Board regulation. Same thing only they brought it here, but a little more difference they brought it. If it is within ROC, that means from one ROC to other ROC, that means in Tamil Nadu we have 2 ROC. I believe everybody must be aware of it. One is in Chennai, other is in Coimbatore. Okay, so lot would have got disturbed, so you must be knowing only. So one is Chennai and other same way in Bombay also. One is in Bombay and other is in Pune. Like that, these places 2 ROCs are in the same state. In those states alone, if somebody want to shift the register office from jurisdiction of one register of companies to another register of company, then the procedure they prescribe like this. Application in form INC 23 has to be filed with the regional director along with annexure. Notice before 1 month to be published in English. Earlier this been a requirement, this has been a requirement to shift from one state to another state. Now within state itself they brought this requirement that within 1 month we have to give a paper advertisement, then only we can file a petition before. And objection can be made within 21 days, otherwise there is a deemed no objection. Good. It's happening as it is same way only. Shifting of register office shall not be allowed if any inquiry investigation is there. And this is from one state to another. Here that advertisement requirement is not coming here in the beginning, it's coming at the end. Before hearing date, the regulator want the company to come out with a notice, giving 14 days time for them to represent to object the shifting to all debenture holders and creditors and also individual notices. And shifting of register office shall not be allowed if as usual that if any inspection inquiry is there, it will not be allowed. And another important provision, without this I should not close the session, entrenchment provision. In fact, earlier itself many of you would have, whoever would have dealt with the special purpose vehicle kind of companies, you would have seen that when shareholders agreement is entered between the companies and the provisions of the agreement will be replaced or will be substituted in the article, will be added in the article to make it legal. Something comes into the bylaw only that can bind the company as well as the member. So earlier, whenever any shareholders agreement is entered between the companies or promoters, the shareholders agreement, the terms of the shareholders agreement will be made part of the article of association. Earlier there was no restriction, but there are so many verdicts are there, when it is not done, it is not enforceable. And there are certain verdicts are there, it is not required also. So both ways the confusion was roaming around in the corporate world. Now that has been laid rest. Now it is made it very clear that entrenchment clause. What is that entrenchment clause? Entrenchment clause is nothing but if something under the provisions of Companies Act says that something can be done by passing a special resolution, I can always say that no, this business can be done only for all the members approved. Something can be done by the board resolution that can be transacted under the provision of Companies Act. I can always say that this same can be done only for all board members approved. We call it as a unanimous approval. So my article can always have entrenchment clause. That means overriding the specific requirement of the act, but it cannot subrogate or it cannot take away the provisions of the act. It should be additional, it should add to the main provisions of the act. That's called its entrenchment. Now it is permitted. Now we can have our own article even at the time of incorporation itself. That means what it's trying to say, that you need not to restrict to the provision of Companies Act. You need not to restrict to say that the only ordinary and special resolution alone can be insisted to approve any kind of business, not required. In fact, while forming company itself, we can say that if everybody members accept, in fact I have dealt with and many professionals would have dealt with the scenario where SPV is formed, the shareholders agreement will be incorporated in the incorporation document itself, but so much query used to come from the regulator side, saying that how it is permitted or not, how could so many things you are bringing into the article of association when table A is very simple, why you are bringing so much. Earlier we used to get a little more resistance from the regulator side when we incorporate the agreement terms into the article of association. Now that resistance can't come from the regulator, because now it is legally permitted. I can bring the agreement terms into the article of association. I need not to restrict myself not only within the parameters of the table F, within the parameters of the Companies Act provision also, as long as I am not violating, I am not abrogating the provisions, subrogating the provision from the Companies Act in 2013. And here the important thing is, in case of public company, it can be done only by way of special resolution by members. In case of private company, it should be approved by all the members. That means unanimous. Here itself they have started in entrenchment provision. Suppose our article there should be entrenchment provision, then it is not sufficient if it is approved by special resolution. It should be approved by all the members of the company. In case of public company, it is sufficient if special resolution is passed. And MGT 14, and as our previous speaker were telling that now every form start with all INC, MGT, MBP, all kind of thing now we are going to deal with and we are going to memorize, and we have no other option also. We are, in fact, MGT 14 is nothing but a replacement to Form 23 of the present Act. Under present Act Form 23 we used to file for any resolution passed under section 192, apart from other requirement and any resolution is passed. Now MGT 14 is replacing Form 23. One person company, that's why only one person is standing and other persons are employees there. And this is a very unique kind of this thing. In fact, it's a one good thing that has happened in Companies Act. This is the only thing, that one person company, where literally government have gone forward and little thought about the business people that they need one person company. Though many people, they form a company having their wife or husband or spouse or their close relatives or one of the shareholder, still their confidence is at stake only, okay, and they have to always worry only, and they file beneficiary interest and say that they are just holding for the purpose of namesake only, and I am the beneficiary owner, because that person should not run away suddenly. There is no point that we believe someone, and always human mind gets tend to change. So to see that business community or all their botheration is laid down and laid rest, they brought this provision where one person, he himself can form a company. So they need not to depend on another person in the world to form a private company. And now under the draft rule, it was permitted one person can form 5 one person company. I don't know suddenly what department thought. See, what knowledge, what intelligence that have not gone into the minds of the department or legislature while drafting draft rule, suddenly what has gone into the mind, we don't know. They said only one company, one person, only one company only can form. That means easily you can keep it in mind. One person company, only one can be formed by one. Now you have understood.
No, the reason is
yeah.
China, only one person company, only one company can.
That's okay. China, let them have China, because China, if one person forms also 150 crores company will come. Their population is big, Our population is lesser only than compared to, there is no that logic. I don't know the logic what it is. When you are permitting a single director to form, of course, one person can form any number of private company. What stops government to permit one person to form so many one number? Anyway, it is different from the member, it is forming only. Then what is the corporate body and governance all we talking about? The logic and the legality behind forming a company itself is that it is distinct from the member. So how many company I form also is immaterial in the eyes of law, because I am distinct from the body which is getting formed. It's not like a sole proprietorship where the sole proprietorship entirely depends on the one person. In fact, the country which is permitting one person to have a 50 sole proprietorship in India, but legally it is not permitting to have more than one person company, that to a company, a legal format. I really don't know the logic. Everything government is getting scared. Suddenly what people will do, every day they will form one person company. Anyway, he is there. He is ready for everything. I am telling in other side, okay. Now I am in the government side now. See, suppose I say that you form any number of company, then what our people will think, business people, I am there, I am ready to take risk, what is that, enough I have done, that itself if come, no, then I am not, may not be in the world, what more is going to happen, let me form every day one company. That also can happen, but for that matter you should not say that only one company, one person can form. That also is too much only, but this is a law now, one person now form one company. So we can't have more than 1% company by one person, and that to be a natural person, and very intelligently they have not permitted company to form. In fact, there were debate were going on in the draft rule. In fact, many speakers were, senior speakers were telling that not that include company, this, that and all, everything is laid rest now. Now only the natural person alone can form. A company cannot form another 1% company, only an individual can form, that too one he can form. And number of directors, how it is permitted to the private company, same is permitted to 1% company also. They can have up to 12 numbers of directors, and if they want to more, by passing special